Now let's turn our attention to Paris, the capital of France and the host city of the Olympic Games this year. Paris says it wants inclusive and socially responsible games, which is ironic because the city couldn't be farther from this goal. Authorities are social cleansing Paris. What does that mean? Social cleansing is removing members of society who are deemed undesirable, like the poor. And that's what Paris is doing, removing them, giving migrants and unhoused people a one-way ticket to the outskirts. This past year, about 13,000 people have been sent away in buses. What of their homes, their livelihoods, their families? It doesn't matter, it seems. After all, France is only following a well-known Olympic tradition. Here's a report.
This is Paris, the capital of France, the city of love, the city of light. Call it what you want, but watch any rom-com or Netflix show and this is the Paris you will see. Jaw-dropping views, good food and locals trotting about in picture-perfect outfits. But as they say, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. Because this is also Paris. So is this. And this. But the government doesn't want you to know that, especially with the Olympic Games beginning tomorrow on July 26th, which is why the Olympic host city is quietly cleaning up. It is forcibly relocating migrant and unhoused people. It is targeting those who are already among the most vulnerable, including entire families and children. This is the very definition of social cleansing.
There's clearly been a move away from the Paris region since the arrival of the Olympic Games. There is a social cleansing to prepare for the arrival of tourists and the Games.
But Paris is determined. Within the past year, almost 13,000 marginal Parisians have been moved outside Paris, including sex workers, drug users, unhoused people, and migrants.
I was taken to a small town and I agreed to stay. Some people before me said, there is no work. A small town where there's no work. And I'm looking for work. So I said thank you, but I'm sorry, I can't stay here.
Being moved to other regions is not at all suited to the situation of migrants. They can't afford it because they'll lose their jobs that are very hard to get if you're a foreigner or refugee, and you've had a difficult life.
People are being filled in buses and transported to temporary shelters that were set up on the outskirts of Paris. Authorities couldn't literally shove the poor under the rug. They are going for the metaphorical approach, giving them bus rides to a land far, far away.
There is a cruel lack of accommodation in our country that when Emmanuel Macron came to power in 2017, there were 143,000 people on the streets. Today, there are 330,000 rough sleepers, an increase of 130%, and we find ourselves today in France, the 7th largest economy in the world, with the least housing construction in our country since 2005. So we're also facing a major housing disaster.
So this is a short-term fix for the housing as well as the migrant issue. But this is not shocking. In fact, it is an Olympic tradition. Before the Games begin, a majority of the host cities displace their unhoused and poor. Sometimes it happens quietly by building migrant shelters. Other times, people are simply kicked on the streets. We saw this in 2021, when the unhoused were told that they have no place in the Tokyo Olympics. And the time before that, in 2016, when Brazil carefully socially cleansed Rio. In fact, this tradition goes back decades. In 1996, when the Summer Olympics were held in Atlanta in the US, 9,000 unhoused people were jailed or given a one-way bus ticket. They were called eyesores. This is par for the course when it comes to the Olympics. So the next time French authorities repeat their promise of an inclusive and socially responsible Paris Olympics, know that the message comes with a disclaimer.
across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making First Post 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.